There are only a handful of knife brands that have built the kind of reputation Buck has over the years. They've been making knives right here in the USA for well over a century, and for generations of hunters, campers, ranchers, and outdoorsmen, a Buck wasn't just another knife. It was the one they carried every day. If you've watched hunting shows, outdoor TV, or some of the biggest names in bushcraft and survival, you've probably spotted a Buck knife more times than you can count. At this point, it's more than just a brand. It's a genuine piece of American outdoor heritage. And if there's one knife that defines that legacy, it's the Buck 110 Folding Hunter. First introduced back in 1963, the 110 completely changed what people expected from a folding knife. Before it came along, folding knives were convenient, but most people still reached for a fixed blade when serious work needed to get done. Buck changed that with its rock-solid lockback design, giving users the strength and confidence of a fixed blade while keeping the convenience of a folder. More than 60 years later, it's still one of the most iconic and recognizable folding knives ever made, and there's a good reason it's remained a favorite for generations. So, let's get it out of the box and take a closer look at what makes the Buck 110 Folding Hunter such a legend. Right out of the box, the Buck 110 still has that classic look that's instantly recognizable. The fit and finish are exactly what we'd expect from Buck. The handle uses genuine ebony wood, and honestly, it looks fantastic. The wood has a nice deep finish, everything lines up cleanly, and we don't see any uneven gaps or rough spots anywhere. We'll talk more about how the handle feels in the hand in just a minute. But before we get there, let's take a closer look at the hardware. Up front and at the rear, we've got Buck's signature brass bolsters, paired with those genuine ebony wood scales. It's a timeless combination, and it's a big part of why the 110 has looked essentially the same for decades. All right, let's open it up. There we go. Now, before we get into how it actually performs, let's run through the specs. To close it, you simply press right here and then fold the blade back in. When it's closed, the knife measures 4 7/8 inches. The weight comes in at 7.2 ounces, and the overall length when opened is about 8 5/8 inches. If we measure the blade itself, the blade length is 3 3/4 inches, and the blade thickness is 0.120 inches. And as you can see, this is a classic clip-point blade. This blade is made out of 420HC. This is Buck's famous 420HC stainless steel with their heat treatment process. Very, very nice. Now, one thing we always want to check with a knife like this is whether there's any blade play or any gaps. Looking right here, we can see that everything is nice and tight, no gaps at all. And if we try to whittle the blade a little bit, nope, no blade play. That's always a good sign. Now let me close it and open it again because I want you guys to hear something. Listen to that click. That sound right there is important. When you hear that click, it means the lock has fully engaged. And as you can see, it's properly locked in place. You can't just accidentally fold it closed. To close it, you simply press this lockback mechanism right here, and then the blade folds down smoothly. Now, what can you actually do with this knife? Well, pretty much everything you'd expect from a good outdoor knife. You can carve wood with it, you can slice things, you can use it for fire prep and making feather sticks. The blade is extremely sharp, so cutting rope, preparing food, or doing general camp tasks won't be a problem at all. You can use it for hunting and skinning work. That's actually what this knife was originally designed for. It does those jobs really, really well.
Now, I actually saw a video where somebody managed to break the lock on one of these, but honestly, this is a classic folding knife. It's not meant to be abused like a fixed blade. You don't want to be hammering on it or batoning wood with it. The lock is incredibly strong and impressive, but this isn't designed to be a survival pry bar or something you use for extreme heavy abuse. Treat it like the classic hunting knife that it is, and it'll probably last forever. Alright, now let's talk about the sheath. This is the genuine black leather sheath that comes with the Buck 110. The knife itself is made in the USA. But the sheath is actually made in Mexico. You see it right here. And the leather quality feels really good. We have a nice belt loop right here so you can easily carry it on your belt while you're out camping, hunting, or working outdoors. The stitching also looks excellent. Especially considering this knife is around $70, the overall fit and finish are really impressive. You can tell this sheath was designed specifically for the Buck 110. Let's put the knife inside. And there we go. It fits perfectly, nice and secure. Personally, I probably wouldn't carry this one loose in my pocket because at 7.2 ounces, this thing is definitely on the heavier side for a folding knife. That's really where the sheath comes in handy. Now, one of the reasons this knife has some weight to it is because of this genuine ebony wood handle and the brass bolsters. These are premium materials and they definitely add some heft. Buck also makes lighter versions of the 110 with synthetic handles if weight is your biggest concern. But this classic configuration is the one everybody thinks of when they hear the name Buck 110. This is the iconic version. And another cool thing is that Buck offers custom engraving. For a little extra money, you can have text or artwork laser engraved onto the blade, which makes this a really nice gift or collector's piece. Now, coming back to the ebony wood handle, because it's a natural material, every single knife is going to look a little bit different. The grain patterns and markings can vary from knife to knife, which actually gives each one its own personality. That's part of the charm of using real wood. Now, let's do a quick sharpness test. We've got some paper here. Look at that! Nice, clean cuts. Very smooth. This thing is definitely sharp right out of the box. That's exactly what we'd expect from Buck's famous heat-treated 420HC steel. Now, one thing to remember with any folding knife is maintenance. If you're using this outdoors, especially around water or in humid conditions, make sure you clean the knife afterward. Wipe the blade down, dry it properly, and then put a little bit of oil on the pivot and the blade. Even though this is stainless steel, taking care of your knife will keep it looking and performing great for many years. And honestly, that's part of the reason the Buck 110 has become such a legend. It's simple, it's reliable, it's beautifully made, and it has more than 60 years of history behind it. This isn't trying to be some modern tactical knife with a bunch of extra features. It's just a really good folding hunting knife that has stood the test of time. So, overall, this thing is incredibly sharp, feels very heavy-duty, and even though it's a fairly compact folding knife, once you open it up, it gives you a full-size working blade. Yes, it's a little heavy by modern standards, but that's also part of its character. Another thing that felt weird to me was the position of the lockback, but other than that, it's amazing. And with the included leather sheath and classic styling, it's easy to see why so many people still love the Buck 110 today. So, that's pretty much it for this one, the legendary Buck 110 Folding Hunter. Let us know what you guys think about this classic knife down in the comments. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.